Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey there, hi there, ho there. This is RHJunior, RHJunior Reality Check, coming to you live over the internet through a series of tubes, forming a boob tube known as YouTube, bringing you another broadcast of my favorite little thing on the interweb, little something I like to call spleen squeezins. Dooby dooby dooby. Hello once again to an amazing audience of completely zero. Apparently even I'm not here. Who cares? I've never been quite there anyway. But we move along. It's the middle of the day. The sun is up. The birds are tweeting. The sun is shining. The gnats are flying. Hey, pooh. Nah. Oh yes. Oh yes, it is an excellent day. For he has actually managed to do 2 days in a row. When will the insanity end? I don't know. Well, anyway, we'll talk about a few things. We'll talk about a few things on the news, culture, art, science, comedy, cats and dogs living together, absolute hysteria. I don't know. I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. And I don't know how to not know. Not knowing nothing. But we move on. Now, until somebody shows up, I'm going to be browsing Giphy, or is it Jiffy? Giphy. Decide for yourselves. Jiffy.com. And we'll be looking for some animations to add to our fabulous little backgrounds so that we have something different to look at once in a while. But anyway, we'll move right along. Yes. Interesting art. Yes. Yes, just basically looking for looping gifs. They're called gifs. Deal with it. Okay, I gotta stop that now. That's copyright music, but this isn't copyright music. This is moving on. We're moving on to we are listening to Monster Fluff Music. Their gaming music radio, no copyright sounds, dubstep, trap, EDM, electric house, background music. Just trying to adjust it so we have just enough music in the background to be listening, to and then the radio blips. Okay. Turn off the header. Space! I don't know. Moving around, looping GIFs. These looping GIFs are seriously substandard. There is nothing here I want to be looking at for more than a minute. I don't know. What can I say? I don't know. But here we go. Let's see. Things to talk about in the news. Oh, Copernic is back in the news. He's levering his 15 minutes into fame into 16. He threw a temper tantrum because the shoe company that sponsors him had Betsy Ross shoes, with the little flags on the heels. The 13 stars, the original American flag with 13 stars. We should have just stuck with 13 stars, just left everything open-ended, But no, everybody had to have their own star on the flag, and the next thing you know, we're stuck with, 50 stars and stripes and all this. You had 13 stars, 13 stripes, and, there you went. You didn't need anything else. Done. So why did I don't know. Politics, which is another way of saying no real reason. We're all just stupid. Now, I don't know where I was going with this. It's gone someplace I never expected. let's see here. Let's see. Okay, I'm browsing through Jiffy.com, seeing if they've got some interesting animations to add to the background fluff on my site. Not really, no. This site is rapidly becoming retro. Let me tell you. I remember when animated GIFs were the shit. Now they are shit. I think most of these things would induce a psychotic episode if you watched them too long. Yeah, seriously, this is kind of sad. I would not want to watch these for very long. Oh well, such is life. Okay. Let's see. Boring. They all get boring after a few seconds. That's the thing of it. They were entertaining back in the day, but no longer. All right, let's see here. What do we got? We've got a frozen image. Yay! Thank you, YouTube. You were such a stellar service ever since Google took over you. I figure in about 50 years, Google is going to become a swear word that makes the word shit look like, kiddie speak. Oh, Google you! I can't believe he said that in a mixed public. People in the back, hey, there are truckers eating here, And that's not good. That's not good at all. Why is it frozen? Why is the image frozen? Why is the stream unhealthy? This is what I pay, like $30+ a month. How much do I pay a month? $50 a month for service that bogs down just transmitting a graphic image. What the hell? Suddenlink. You want good rep. You want good rep. Suddenlink. You want people to say nice things about you. Suddenlink. How about you do nice things? How about you provide good quality service consistently at an affordable price? What a radical concept. No. And they're all sitting around. No. Let's offer a special introductory offer that disappears in 6 months, and then screw them over for the next 10 years. That's the way to do it. Okay. Suddenlink. You can get it so cheap and so affordable. My ass, you can. Been trying to access my PayPal. I've already paid my electric bill for the month. Now I've got to pay my internet bill for the month. And I'm sitting here, and it will not let me through to the site. They will not. The Suddenlink will not let me through to the site to pay Suddenlink. Just how much of a bunch of bumble-twits do you have to be to screw that up? If you're going to be an evil corporation, be at least a competent evil corporation when it comes to getting paid. No. Let's do it the Suddenlink way. Hey, you want to make me cranky? Give me cable internet and then have YouTube inform me that the video output from my computer is too low. As if somehow the cable lines became constipated or something. Okay, I don't know how loud this music is to you guys. So I'm having to tweak it back and forth. I have no idea. This music is coming from I repeat, Monster Fluff Music on YouTube. There are no copyright sounds. Dubstep, Trap, EDM, Electro House channel. Why? Because dubstep, trap, EDM, and Electro House, as much as you may like it, techno music all sounds the same, and it can drone on in the background without really interrupting anything. It's really not like listening to an opera or anything. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you bastard! You disconnected me from the site. Oh, this is great. I hope they're not in a hurry to get paid. Jerks. I don't like dealing with that. I don't like dealing with... Look at this. The service is... Okay. Stream health. Live. Video output low. Of course I'm keeping it low so it doesn't choke the line. Like an old man who's eaten like 50 pounds of cheese. I can't get the food through. This is making me grumpy. I'm also hot and sweaty, so I got an air conditioner on one side and a fan on the other, and I'm still just sitting here feeling like I'm in a lukewarm bath. My house is hot in the summer, cold in the winter, leaks, the roof leaks. It kind of needs some repairs. Hell, it needs the whole trailer really needs replaced. It was built in 1971. It was built the year I was born. And it is in the same physical shape. That should give you nightmares. Same physical shape. Thinning on top. Bottom falling out. Plumbing doesn't work right. Gas problems. Oh, yeah. There you have it. That's my house. It's probably me in a previous life, you'd think. Okay, we got nobody in channel. I cannot contact Suddenlink through their website. I'm not, this is proving somewhat inauspicious. Had my lawn mowed today. It cost me over $50 to get my lawn mowed. I'm going to have to cancel. The next mow is supposed to be June 19th. July 19th. I'm going to have to cancel that so that I don't get starved out. I still have to pay my internet, and I have to pay the IRS my monthly thingamajiggy. And whatever's left over, I'm just going to be, whatever's left over, sad to say, is going to my landlord, which is not going to make them very happy. This is why I have a donation button. Please help. Okay, this music is annoying. It's too energetic. It's too loud. It's meant for a club. where everybody is screaming and yelling at each other and banging into each other, and I don't know what the heck they do to these clubs. Nothing that you can announce on TV, But no. I'm trying to get these cords out of the way. I can't get up there. It's got cords all over the place here. Got a new chapter of Deku the Warcrafted up, for those who are interested. And even if you're not interested, there it is. Deal with it. Deal with it. I have to. But, now it's feeding. Now it's feeding fine. Apparently, having a channel open on YouTube makes the thing crap itself. So there you go. What a crappy service. Let's see. Nature sounds for me. That was a natural sound. 100% natural gas. Greenpeace ought to be shaking my hand. No. Forget the forest ambience. I'm sick of the Tweety birds. Nature sounds. Rain on roof. Rain on a tin roof. La 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 la. Thunder. Here we go. Here somewhere. There we go. Yes, there's a leak in your computer. It's running down the inside of the screen. Quick, get a bucket. That droning noise is in the background is the fan, in case you were wondering. Okay, let's see. This is as good as it gets. This is as good as it gets. I'm getting pooped out here. Without somebody in the channel listening or watching, I just energy. Straight gone. It's you people. It's you people who make it all worthwhile. It's taking forever to loop over to I've switched it over to rainy background, and it's still sitting here. I'm looking at the screen, and it's still showing the flying cube thing. Aggravating. Wait some more. Gripe. Wait some more. I wonder what unholy concoction they've come up with to cause this problem. Now, makes me think of that one Dilbert cartoon. Okay, we're putting you in charge of customer service. And this guy comes running out of nowhere, clings to Dilbert's back and starts tearing at Dilbert's hair and beating him with his fist. I hate you! I hate you! And this is our best customer, by the way. Yeah. When the up keep falling on my head, plunk, plunk. I used to sing that as a little boy. I have no idea, I had no idea why my parents laughed. Because every time it rained, I remembered it from a little Sesame Street skit, little kid dancing in puddles. Whenever we'd go walking in the rain, raindrop keep falling on my head, plunk, plunk. Da 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 da, don't know the words, blah 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 blah. Head, blah da 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 da. Crying's not for me, 'cause I got the red on the dude. Man, that song takes me back. I mean, all the way back to kindergarten. Back. Remember one time we were coming in after night, late at night. We drove home. I was about 5 years old. I was about 5 years old. My little sister Debbie was 1. She had fallen asleep on the ride home. He said, "I'll carry her in." I was just full of spit and vinegar. I picked her up, and Dad was, you really ought to do that. She's too heavy for you. And I said, "She ain't heavy. She's my sister." And they laughed, and I had no clue. I did not have any clue why they laughed at that until I was in my 30s. Now, that's what you call a brick joke. For those who want to know, it's a trope referencing, in a lot of comedy skits, there'll be something like a guy throws a brick in the air, and it doesn't come back down. Then the entire show runs, and then at the very end, the brick falls out of the sky and knocks somebody in the noggin. Brick joke. A 30-year brick joke, man. That's some doing. So, Ronry, where are you all? One is the Ronriest number that you have on you. 2 is more one than 1. I don't know the song, but it goes like that. 1 is the Ronriest number. Ah. That's racist. I don't care. You can't take a crap in this world anymore. Somebody's standing there pointing. That's racist. Of course, if somebody actually did that, I'd be just be a mental moment trying to figure out where they were coming from. But I don't care anymore. I don't care if they have made the word meaningless. It's the equivalent of a 6-year-old screaming "doo-doo head," and it has about as much impact anymore. That was racist. And then they throw a tantrum and get somebody fired for saying "Merry Christmas." Useless people, man. That offends me. Why do you think we said it? You tell me that offends me, and I'm like, ooh, bonus. Because it amused everybody else, and now it's getting rid of you. With any luck, if I repeat it enough, will you shrivel up and die like the Wicked Witch of the West? I'm melting! I'm melting! Oh, my beautiful snowflakiness! Oh! Blurp. That was some nightmare fuel when you were a little kid, man. I remember watching some Japanese animated version of Japanese made. It wasn't really anime, but Japanese made version of The Wizard of Oz. And we're sitting there watching it, and Dad is, typical of him, he's complaining about everything. Why did they animate that? Why is their hair blowing in the wind, but their dress isn't blowing in the wind? Why did they do this? Why did they do that? I swear, it was like sitting next to an unfunny Seinfeld. Anyways, he complains that, they're talking so fast. Why are they talking so fast? And you're spitting those words out like a machine gun. I'm like, dead. It's animated in Japan, and they probably had to translate it from English to Japanese and back to English again. And have you ever listened to a Japanese person talk? You're not gonna get no down south, easy going, relaxing Japanese person talk. Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. Ohio. Ikamakadisida. No, it's like Shito, Kijo, Mitsubishi, and that's how they sell hello. Now, how fast do I want to see the translator that worked on that one. I want to see the American Sign Language version of that one. Guy beats himself to death with his own fingers. That's so racist. No, it's factual. It's a fairly accurate and highly humorous representation of how freaking fast the Japanese language is. And this is the weird thing. I've been writing these fan fictions that are crossovers with Japanese anime, and there's a couple of kinds, but when you say anime, you say Japan. Just as when you used to say noble Romans, you smile and say pizza. But when you say anime, you mean Japan. But anyway, I'm doing this translation, and I'm doing like all these stories, all these fan fictions with from Japanese anime, crossovers with My Hero Academia, and I'm looking through there and I'm trying to figure out all these honorifics. And and the rules for their honorifics are crazy. In English, you go sir or ma'am. And when you're talking to a man or woman, you go miss, Ms, or Mrs. When you talk to a man, you say Mr. They don't have that. In fact, they don't have gender differentials in their honorifics. That's the interesting thing. But they have, you got a guy named Izuku. If you're being polite, you say Izuku-san. If you're being respectful to a superior, you say Izuku-sama. If you're being friendly and intimate, you say Izuku-kun or Izuku. I forget what the one is for Izuku. Well, if you're talking to a teacher, you're saying Izuku-senpai. And actually, you say Izuku-sensei. If you're talking to somebody whose respect you're trying to get, or who you deeply respect, or you want their admiration, you call them Izuku-senpai. It's like, notice me, senpai. You get the subtle meaning behind that now. Congratulations. Of course, in the case of Izuku is a first name, or rather, an individual's name. They say the family name first, and their own name second. So I would be, my name is Ralph Hayes. In Japan, my name would be Hayes Ralph. And only people who were very intimate with me would call me Ralph by my first name, or who had received personal permission from me to call me Ralph. And they would call me Ralph-san, Ralph-sama, Ralph-kun, Ralph-senpai, Ralph-sensei if I was their teacher. And, even a husband and wife, if the husband is teaching the wife how to drive, she'll call him sensei. And there are all these rules and all these exceptions to the rules. And, let's just say I give a lot of those a real near miss in the stories. Because I'm like, Izuku. Do I call him Izuku here or Midoriya here? Do I call him Midoriya? Do I have the person call him Midoriya-san, Midoriya-sama, Midoriya-senpai, Midoriya? Just don't call me late for dinner, And apparently there are regional dialects, so Lord kill me now. And they say Chinese is like 10 bajillion times worse. This is why so many people declared war on the Chinese. It was easier than learning to speak their language. Oh, diplomat. What the hell he say? Screw it. Over the wall at him, guys. That's the funny thing about it. China has been conquered multiple times, by the way. It has. It's just that China is so freaking large and has so many people that after a couple of generations, the invaders had married Chinese wives, started Chinese families, moved into Chinese communities. Eventually, well, basically within a generation or two, they were Chinese. They don't defeat invaders or rebel against them. They eat them. They devour them whole. You know, sometimes you wonder if that Great Wall of China was to keep everybody else out or to keep them in. Yeah. I had trouble to build that great big giant wall, and now what is it used for? It's a tourist trap to people from the far side of the world walk up and down it. White foreign round tight devil, walk all over the wall. Why don't we bother with this bull crap? Build a great big wall, keep stranger out. What do you come do? Take picture, take picture. Hey, open demand an explanation for this bullshit. The thing of it is, the wall worked. The wall did work. The wall only failed when somebody on the inside betrayed the country and opened the gates to the barbarians. You want to see a wall that failed? Look at the French Maginot line, between World War I and World War II. They built this entire line of forts and walls and guns and machine gun play all the way up and down their border. Except for this one tiny little area down in the south. Oh, they will never try to cross through there. We shall stand behind the wall and taunt them again. They stood up there, and then all the Germans just went south around it, and they're standing there up on the wall. Your father was a hamster, and your mother smelt of airberries. Go away, or we shall taunt you again, you German pig dog. And they turn around. Oh, there you are, right behind us. Ha ha ha. See, Gail? Yeah. There's a wall that failed because they didn't finish it. What little wall we have already up, the build the wall people, they've only put up a couple of miles worth of wall. And it's already slowing, they say it's already slowing the rate of immigrants because, they're having to go the long way around and it's not exactly safe. But still, that wall needs to be finished. A nation that doesn't protect its borders isn't a nation for long. It's sliced up like a pie for other countries. We live in a nation, this, as Gilbert and Sullivan call him, the idiot who praises with enthusiastic tone every century but this and every culture but his own. And they hate their own country and they want to see. They've been taught to hate their country. They've been taught to hate their country. They've been taught to hate Christianity, the Christian faith, and the Christian principles upon which this country was built. And yes, a free and open market is a Christian principle because the principle is thou shalt not steal. All exchange is only valid if it is voluntary. And they have been trying to get rid of that ever since it was established. But they come up here and they want, and they've been taught since they were children to be ashamed of themselves and ashamed of their country and to blame themselves for every horrible thing that happens in the world, even if it happens on the far side of the planet where we're not even men. Somehow we're supposed to bandage everybody's boo-boos, take the blame for everything that goes wrong, and not intervene at all in anything that goes wrong, all at the same time. This is, an abusive relationship kind of thing. This is the kind of gaslighting you get from somebody who's beating their wife or beating their kids, or doing worse to their kids. They gaslight their own kids. If you didn't behave this way, I wouldn't have to treat you like this. Oh yeah, you don't say, Buford. If you didn't make me so angry. And I talk like that like it's only white people to do this crap. Use that redneck accent. Don't get real. You go up through ghetto land, they're red, yellow, black, and white. They're slapping their wives up and down like ping pong paddles. Flat out, they found out. They done the stats. The number of women who are assaulting their men is equal to the number of men, assaulting their women. That's the stats, and that's the reported cases. Think about that. We live in a society where if a man hits a woman, everybody in the immediate vicinity will either call the cops or jump the guy themselves. There is no deterrent against women accusing men of being violent abusers. At the same time, there is an incredible amount of pressure against a man to ever report against a woman who has violently assaulted him. Because he's perceived as weak, as emasculated, as less than a man, and as somehow deserving to be treated, horribly and physically violently by a woman. Why didn't he defend himself? Because if he defended himself, he'd be in jail. It's a screwed up system. So you got to figure that by now, the real balance of the scales is that there are probably more cases of men being violently, brutally mistreated by their wives than women who are being mistreated by men, just statistically. Because the men are actually ashamed to report it. The women are praised and cosseted and patted and told what brave heroes they are for doing the same thing. She could bench press trucks for a hobby, and her husband could arrange flowers for a living, and everybody's going, well, he had it coming for not standing up like a man. She can fold him in half and throw him over one shoulder, but somehow, it's his fault that the fact she jumped up behind him and brained him with a beer bottle. Screwed up world, man. Screwed up world. But I'm saying, spousal abuse. It's the same attitude. America is expected to be responsible for everything, to take the blame for everything, to fix everything somehow, and to not interfere in anything at the same time. We're the battered housewife of of Western civilization. You wonder why so many Americans are pro-war so much. Why we all hoot and holler like enraged gorillas when the war actually breaks out. Because when America does not want war. America never wants war. America exists precisely because we tried to avoid war. I mean, we came all the way over here across the ocean just because, our founding fathers came all the way over here just so they could be left alone. Here, we told all these people we wouldn't let our ancestors practice their religion the way they wanted to. Here, tell you what, we're going to go across this ocean here and live in a howling wilderness. And most of us are going to starve to death in the first couple of years, but hey, we'll just stay over there just to keep the peace, just leave us be, and we'll leave you be, and all's good. And nothing we did. They would, and at the first excuse, everybody was paddling across the ocean to give us shit. That was the motto of it. Don't tread on me. The Gadsden flag should have been told, please just leave us the hell alone. That should be the American motto. Please just leave us the hell alone. We do not want to have to get up this chair and kick your ass up past your shoulders again. And I do mean again. There is probably not a country on this planet where we have not. There's not a major, well, there's probably all sorts of little podunk countries all over, scattered all over the globe. People got nothing better to do than divide up borders and then shuffle them around like they're playing shuffleboard. But there is probably not a nation on earth, a nation or empire on earth that we have not, gone to war beside or gone to war against. And the only time we had anything remotely approaching a loss is the time we got shuffled off to Buffalo into going over there when we didn't really want to be over there. And all anybody at home could think about was leaving and coming back. If we get mad enough to if we seriously get mad enough to come over there, you will regret it. Yeah, that's another motto we should have had. Don't make me get out of this chair. That was what we're coming up on July 4th. That's what the whole celebration is about. We we came over here, set up 13 colonies, minding our own business, and Parliament. No, it was not King Richard. It was not King George that was responsible for our mistreatment. He was just a figurehead. Let's not kid ourselves. It was Parliament. Damn, they couldn't even treat Irishmen, who were their next door neighbors, like human beings. What do you expect of them when they've got a colony on the far side of the ocean they don't have to look at? And they went out of their way to cross the ocean en masse and be dicks to us. And so we got up out of our chair and proceeded to show why we disapproved of this. And less than 100 years later, they're trying it again. War of 1812. And we had to curb stomp them again. And they're all sitting around there with a black eye and a bloody nose, drinking their tea around the bandages holding their teeth in place, going, I say, perhaps we should leave those colony blighters alone for a few decades. Too right. Yes. I don't care if you're British. Kiss my butt. Every single war we've been in is like, don't make us get up out of this chair. We didn't want to get involved in World War I. We didn't want to get involved in World War II. The Spanish-American War was the first time we had to deal with a bunch of illegal immigrants pouring across the border and causing trouble. Think about that carefully, my Mexican neighbors. We're getting, we're in our, we're toddling through only our third century, and we're already getting, we're already at that old man tired of this shit kind of level. We did more in the past 300 years than most nations in Europe did in the last 2,000. We put up with more crap than most other nations see in their lifetimes. And we are at the tired of your shit stage. We don't want to go to war. We got a bunch of milksops out there who think that that's the key to power. Oh, give peace a chance and stuff money in my ballot box. No. The reason most Americans don't want to go to war is we don't think it's worth the effort. We're not dumb. A lot of people out there, war produces prosperity. In the same way cannibalism is good nutrition. No, it doesn't. Until economists learn how to count, until economists learn how to subtract, they're never going to figure out war. Okay? Peace brings prosperity. War just brings a lot of broken shit that somebody has to spend a fortune on fixing. I remember reading a science fiction story. It was one of these short stories in an anthology. There's this human colony planet. They call for help because they've been invaded by this alien empire. And this alien empire is absolutely barbaric and brutal and cruel. Regards human beings as little more than stockyard animals. Just sadistic and arrogant. Not the noble savage crap of the Klingons. We're talking, French asshole kind of aliens. And the human Commonwealth sends out this one man. His entire job is to decide if the situation is severe enough to declare war. By the time he arrives, the aliens have colonized the former planet. They've overwhelmed it. They've swarmed over it. Most of the human races, most of the humans on the planet escape, but a handful have been taken prisoner and are being subjected to torture and cruelty beyond belief. The survivors who are aboard the guy's ship, their spokesman is like, "Why don't you do something? Why are you sitting on your hands? Please, send the call." And the guy's, just shrugging and he's hesitating. And the final breaking point is when one of the supposed diplomats of the alien race shows up on the ship, and he's got a thing on a leash. It used to be human. They vivisected it and mutilated him and took bones out of its body, out of his body, and lobotomized him, and he just turned him into this muling thing. And he was just the diplomat was just showing the pet off, just to rub it in the noses of the of the human executor. It's just to rub it in his face, just how sadistic and cruel they could be. And as soon as and he takes, the diplomat takes out, the executor takes out his gun, blows the poor bastard away on the one on the leash, blows him away, and then hits the button, sends the signal, and then activates the viewer. And then the fleet starts showing up. These aliens, they've got dozens of ships surrounding the planet. And the first handful of ships from the human battle fleet outmass the glorious Imperial battle fleet. One ship outmasses all the ships they have around the planet. And the ships start blasting the absolute shit out of everything. They vaporize the ships. They vaporize the cities that the aliens have built on the surface. They and then more ships and more ships and more ships until the sky is literally blotted out by the fleet from the human Commonwealth, and they literally bomb the planet until the surface is molten, and then keep bombing it until it's nothing but a cloud of rubble, and then keep blasting away at what's left, turning the asteroid field that's left behind into small fine gravel. And then when the fighter squadrons are going through blasting away at the few tumbling meteors that are left behind for target practice. And then the entire fleet starts setting course for the home planet of this alien race. And the alien is just standing there, just doing his equivalent of, just going ghost white. And he says, "We will negotiate for surrender." And he gets called. The executor gets called by his superiors and said, "Why did you wait so long to push the button? We're surprised you waited even this long." And basically he reveals that the reason he delayed for so long in unleashing the grapes of wrath, as it were, was that to do so, to declare war like he had, a terrible decision to begin with, but even the loss of life was secondary to the sheer cost of sending this fleet out. And this is just one fleet, because just to do this one swing by, just to send out this one fleet, would basically gutted the GDP of entire settled planets in the Commonwealth. They would be paying for the cost for years, just for this bug squishing moment. That's the thing that our enemies don't seem to, can't quite grasp, is that America is incredibly, incredibly long-suffering, all things regarded. We are currently the most powerful nation on earth in many regards. But we know the cost of war. And this sounds cold and ruthless, but, and not just in soldiers who never come home. It's in children never born. It's in factories never built, homes never built, streets never paved, roads never laid, crops never harvested, bread never put on the table, prosperity that disappears down the gullet of war, never to be seen again. All the waste. Think of Europe. Think of how they just ripped thousands. They ripped through their own countries, turning thousands and thousands of square kilometers of land and forest and hill and valley into a churned up muddy hell for zero gain and countless loss. They had lived by these nations had lived by the doctrine that you succeeded by conquering other nations and taking their land for yourself. That's barbarian thinking. That's primitive thinking. The only kind of thinking that you get out of a socialist. The idea that somehow more on your plate means less for somebody else, rather than the idea of share the pie. They never get the idea of making their own pie. And and all that was really the reality of the pretense of all these so-called intertangling alliances. They were all agreeing to, if they went to war, they'd all divide the spoils up when they conquered all the other lesser nations. That's basically what they were all thinking. And World War I was triggered because somebody wanted everybody else's pie, and everybody else wanted a slice too. And millions of people died, and millions more were never born because of that greed and folly. World War II, same story. Hitler, Mussolini, Stalin, they're all barbaric abortion throwbacks to the greedy imperial hopefuls of World War I. And the world suffered for it. And we're still suffering losses from those two wars to this day. The Korean War and the Vietnam War, just the communists trying to conquer the world through the back door. Because the communist empire is no different than the Nazi empire or the fascist empire. The only way those empires could exist is by perpetual conquest. They were not self-sustaining. Their economic philosophies were self-destructive. The only way they could persist as long as they did was by conquering and taking the resources of who they conquered for themselves. They created nothing. They stole everything and then they destroyed it. They probably set us all back 200-300 years just in the material destruction they caused, and that they forced us to cause in return. All the things that we could have created, we wasted building bombs and tanks and planes and guns just to stop them. You can't till your own field if you have to beat your plowshare into a sword. Only a fool thinks that war brings prosperity. It might bring a fallout, a windfall for the parasites on the fringes of war, but in the end, it's a horrendous loss. Okay, we got 3 people in channel. Yay! I'm so excited. One of them's me. I'm happy to see me. Hello, me. How are you? Hello, me. How nice to see me. Okay, but we got 2 other people in here. Speak up. Say your names and be known to the audience. Bong. Okay. My instance, here we go. Yay! I know you can hear me. You weren't expecting that, were you? They still haven't spoken. I'm going to keep doing this until you respond. And one of them ran away. Yeah, well, there you go. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that wonderful, folks? Yeah, give them a big hand. Give them a big round of applause. Give them a big square of applause. Trapezoid, anything. Come on, give me something. Ba 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 ba. This is me. This is what happens when a bored man gets hold of the internet. Dum dum da da dum dum da da dum dum da da dum ba-dum ba-dum ba-dum. Oh, by the way, the new Disney Star Wars amusement park is bombing. Apparently, just suckage. They're just falling flat on their faces. Nobody's interested. There's no lines there. And for a Disney park to have almost no lines, well, hey, I'm saying if you want to go on a bunch of rides, this is the time to go there now, while everybody hates it, because there's almost no lines in the Star Wars Edge of the Galaxy thingy, Galaxy Edge, whatever they're calling it. Oh man, they got a little fiasco going on. They have got a item that you can buy there at the park. It's a lightsaber. It's a toy lightsaber. You actually participate in assembling your own lightsaber. Don't ask me. And you go to the kiosk and the guy behind the counter and you tell him what kind of lightsaber you want to build, and he shows you what parts to get, and you put the parts together. And the problem is that it's terrible. Apparently, the people are doing our crap at it, because everybody that's leaving the park, they're saying the thing breaks before they even leave. It costs $200. Do you hear me now? It's supposed to be this experience where you are the Jedi, building your lightsaber for the first time. And they're making it they're making it less exciting than Build-A-Bears on a boring day. And and these people are taking these lightsabers, and the darn things stop working, most of them before the kids even leave the park. And the things cost $200. No refunds. $200 for a broken piece of junk. It's a brilliant idea, horribly executed. Which sounds a lot like every approach Disney has taken towards the Star Wars universe. Really, I mean, you've gotta dive for it. You've gotta dive for it to do worse than the prequels. But somehow they succeeded. Congratulations, Mickey. Oh boy. Oh boy, I just bought myself the world's most fail-safe franchise. Let's see how fast we can plow it into the dirt. Nobody asked you, Duck. Gosh. This is a frightening fact. This is a frightening true fact. Goofy is the only major Disney star who has actually had sex. Or we can confirm he has actually had sex, because he had a wife, he has a son, an actual son, looks just like him, it's his, teeth and all. So this creature named Goofy has actually made the beast with two backs. Imagine the sounds. Little midnight trauma for you, little vision to have in your head when you go to sleep tonight. Gosh. No. Live with that. Live with that horrible knowledge. Imagine being Goofy's wife and hearing this. Oh no, not again tonight, honey. I've got a headache. The Goofies are at it again. Close the windows, Ingrid, and get me my earplugs. That was one tasteless joke. Ha. Okay, you're in the channel. I see you are there. Talk to me, please. Please to be talking to me, participating in the channel. This is an interactive channel where I do the talking and then you do the talking and then I do the talking back. So please, to be typing in the window. There are 3 of you and 1 me. I do not think you are lifting your share of the corners. Yes, I am talking to you, Mr. Number 4 watching now. I am the first person that is watching now that should not be talking in the chat room. I'm the only person that should not be talking in the chat room. Because I am already talking on the show. But you are not talking to me. Please, to be talking to me. So I know you are alive, and you are not a robot, and you are not simply annoying, a troll, or maybe some creepy person who's stalking me on the internet. Is you a creepy person who's stalking me on the internet? Come on over. I've got the popcorn. I'm so lonely. Why for you not talk to me? I was making sure my microphone was on. Yes, it's on. So I know you can hear me. You're not a nice person. If you're sitting there, oh, I'm just listening. Stop listening and start saying something. If you think, oh, he's not talking to me, I'm talking to you. I want to talk to you. I want to get to know you well. I want to get to know you well. I want to get to know you well. That's from the fabulous movie Better Off Dead. A summer teen flick. It was seriously incredibly surreal. and could probably never get made today because the running gag was that the protagonist had broken up with his girlfriend and was trying to commit suicide. And one of you runs away. One of you runs away. Use the coward. Come back here. Come back or we shall taunt you again. He's so sad. Oh, I'm coughing up bugs here. There. There's a bug in the system. I just swallowed a gnat. Dum 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 dum. I don't know. It's the Starfield. She's not the moving correctly. I don't know. Come on, talk to me, people, please. Therefore, you're back. You're back. You have braved the storm, and despite the best efforts of YouTube, you have actually managed to log on. Congratulations. Come on, I need feedback. I really do. Come on. What am I, a monkey in a cage? Could you at least throw a peanut? I'm hungry. Don't make me. You don't want to know what I'm going to throw back out of the cage if you don't. I don't know where I got this accent. I just made it up one day and it just will not leave. All my neighbors are loading their shotguns. Dirt foreigners. Actually, most rednecks would be like, "Got any dope?" All you Mexicans got dope. Eli and T-Mug. Eli and T-Mug. So it's a, so they say dual loading, double-barreled account, I guess. Eli, I'm pronouncing. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Eli and T-Mug. Hi, thanks for the stories. They're amazing. Been with you since film fiction. Keep an eye out for me in a few days. As I have some help, I might ask you for some work and pay for it. Yeah, I'll be looking for that. Okay, you keep an eye out on the stories. I've only the most recent update I've made to the stories has been a new chapter for Deku the Warcrafted. I'm going to be going interesting places with that. It's actually going to take a few chapters where it's not going to focus on Deku. It's going to focus on some of his classmates stumbling across the workshop, the lost workshop. What are you going to draw today? I don't freaking know. I haven't got the clue. But I think I'll pull something up and figure it out. I was hoping to actually... I was actually hoping to talk to some of you all for a little while first. Get to know you better. I'm opening a Manga Studio right now. Manga Studio 5.0 for all your Manga Studio needs. When you gotta make the mango. Mango Studio. You draw with fruit. Papayas. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, but here I am. Okay, I've got some strips I gotta do. For This Old Vic. For those who don't know, This Old Vic is a semi-autobiographical comic strip by Daniel Meyer. He does the writing, I do the drawing. When I can get off my not so clinically depressed and skanky, tired, exhausted butt and get him out. But anyway, moving on. He writes it, I draw it, he posts it on his website, The Old Victorian. He and his wife own an old Victorian mansion. It's over 100 years old, and they're renovating it while they live in it. And this guy is basically the man who has, he's the man for all season for the 21st century. He's gone on a diet and exercise program. He's trimmed down to like half his original size. He's driving me nuts with it now. I just did 50 reps today. Completed my goal for the afternoon. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Leave me alone with my double fudge ice cream, you. Aye. But he and his wife, and he is a motorcycle enthusiast who is basically all over the South. Apparently, he gets on it and rides. He rides with the desert wind, and then when the tires blow out, he walks with the desert wind. And he's also owned a couple of shops. He does a little writing. He's got a couple of books out on well, I don't know where they are, but they're on his website, Amazon.com. That's right. Life is a Highway, I believe, is the title of his story, of his book. He's got some freaking funny stories, let me tell you. Ask him about the squirrel sometime. He will tell you all about the squirrel. The squirrel will live on in legend. Trust me on this one. Anyway. But his character is a wolf. His wife is an otter. And they're both nuts. Okay. So, I'll just, let me switch over. Achim. I'm waiting for the computer to switch over to the screen I'm trying to do here. Come on. There we go. Hooray! How exciting. That's Manga Studio 5. I have no idea what they're... I think they changed the program name, so now I have no idea what what level they're on yet. Sort of like Nintendo skipping numbers and letters as they rename their new programs, or Microsoft. I can count the people that come up with the Microsoft product names. I can count to a potato. 1, 2, XP, 10. Professional. Anyway. Let's see here. Let's get the brush. See if I can get at least one strip out for him today. I never know what I'm going to do from one day to the next. I learned the hard way to never plan anything. Because every time I try to plan something, I get up and I plan, tomorrow morning I will get up early in the morning. And I will eat a healthy breakfast. And I will sit down in front of my computer. And I will compose art and literature on a regular schedule, eat a healthy lunch, continue some more, maybe browse a few websites, and then go to bed. And then I get up and it's like 4 in the afternoon and I'm eating a Pop-Tart with bacon. What the heck am I supposed to do now? There's no time left. I will say this much. My transfers came through today. The Patreon donors, the Patreon patrons. I would like to once again say thank you all very much, who are my Patreon patrons. I greatly, deeply appreciate your generosity. I've managed to pay my internet bill. No, actually, I paid my electric bill. I still have to pay my internet bill. I paid for have my get my lawn mowed. I have to have it mowed at least once a month, or I get in trouble. And it excuse me, sore throat. I've been talking for the past hour or so to myself, and warm Kool-Aid, yum. Bleh. Anyway, the money came through. I also spent $20 and bought myself a pizza. Get the pizza. It's so extravagant. Bought an extravagant pizza from east of Chicago. I will admit this, their pizzas are a little more expensive than the usual run of stuff that you get delivered, but they're very, 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 very good. Get a medium pan pizza. And I still got a couple of pieces left, so I've got something to look forward to. But thank you very much. And he says, thank you for the thanks. And I'm like, you're very welcome. Okay, let's see here. I have to double check the script, but darn it. You see, that's what happens if my drawing pad gets unplugged and I have to replug it in, and the darn thing, for some reason, it resets the controls, and I have to turn the program off and restart it. But here, let me fix this first. Commissions. I haven't heard any word back from Wild Weasel. Wild Weasel. Maybe they got all the art they want. Maybe they're just sick of me. Maybe they're traveling in foreign lands. I don't know. But I hope I am still producing satisfactory work for them. It's been a very rough couple of months. June was a complete loss. Let's put it that way. It's put my health and finances are just punched to the face kind of bad. It's a 1-2 punch. I'm constantly, despite the manic pace at which I'm speaking, I have spent the past couple of months just exhausted all the time. Feel run down, just worn out, torn up, flattened out, squashed. I think half the reason I'm feeling as perky as I am right now is because I literally forced myself to spend the entire weekend, or at least one entire day, just not getting out of bed. I wanted to, but it was blazing. I had to sleep through the heat of the day because the air conditioners aren't up to anything in this house. But it helped. It seemed to help. Okay, let's shut this down. Let's start it back up again, and we turn it back on. Okay. For those who are wanting to know, okay. I have a lot. Excuse me. That was delightful to listen to, wasn't it? I had the microphone right up to my mouth and everything. Thought I'd share. But, okay, I have got like 21 different stories on Archive of Our Own. 21 stories. Take your pick as to what you like. Okay? I went on a binge last week or so. Just the only thing I could seem to crank out was fan fictions about My Hero Academia, of all things. I like the show. I love the show. I watched the first 2 seasons. I think I saw the third season. Is it the third season? Well, the fourth season that's coming out. But anyway, I watched everything they've got out. The anime. And, yeah. And ideas just started popping up everywhere in my brain like exploding tumors. Anyway. What's the time here? The time right now is 4:52 in the afternoon. And where might you be? Australia! Putting on your shrimp on the bobby. Slap the crocodile silly and tie up a wallaby. I don't know. You're not in Australia? That'd be a new one. Here's something to think about. For all my life, for literally in my entire life, I thought Japan was in the southern hemisphere. I sincerely did. And then I go looking it up. I had to check references for my stories, because I didn't want any Japanophiles coming. You got the honorifics all wrong, and you got the holidays all wrong. You got the school year all wrong. And I'm okay, fine. I'll check it all. And I found out, wait a minute, their winter and summer is the same as ours. And I look up a map with latitude and longitude. Well, holy crap, they're in the same hemisphere as us, northern hemisphere. And I'm like, well, how about that? I feel so culturally enlightened. Boo-hoo. But, and, man, it's amazing what we have in common with Japan, and it's really amazing what we don't. They love Christmas there. They've not got a very large Christian populations, but they absolutely love Christmas. They love the presents and the tree and all that other stuff. The secular Christmas angle. They love Santa Claus. And get this. Their ideal Christmas dinner is Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's the traditional, quote unquote, the traditional Christmas dinner in Japan. And it has been for, almost as long as Kentucky Fried Chicken has been in Japan. That's fascinating to me, as it's hilarious, actually. And what it is that apparently when Kentucky Fried Chicken opened over there, it was a confluence of events. First of all, Kentucky Fried Chicken did a Christmas promotional, of course, like they are wont to. And the people in Japan really couldn't tell the difference between Santa Claus and Colonel Sanders. And so the red and white bucket became a Christmas symbol in Japan. And in fact, you have to order your Kentucky Fried Chicken in advance by weeks around the holiday season. That's just freaky to me. I love it. I just love it. People get a lot. People in America, especially Christian folks, we tend to get real upset at people in Japan for disrespecting our faith and so forth. They really don't get it. They don't get our religion. They haven't. Nobody's really sat down with them and explained it to them, I don't think. And if they did, we got the communication problem, lost in translation here. They don't understand the trappings of Christianity, generally speaking, than we any more than we understand Shintoism. We've got a vague picture, but we haven't got a clue. You want an example of how poorly, let me put it this way. I saw a picture recently of a Christmas display in a department store in Japan. Front window, okay, for everybody walking past. It was a picture, Christmas tree and the fake snow. They had Santa Claus nailed to a cross. That's right. Santa Claus nailed to a cross. I cannot begin to describe or trace out the confusion of ideas that led to them deciding, oh, this is what we put up for this holiday. But they're trying. Give them points. Give them points. They're trying. They're failing, in a way that I couldn't possibly have imagined, but they're trying. God bless them. And I feel so sorry for the Christian ministers and evangelists and missionaries who go over to Japan. The confusion that must take place for weeks. As they try to communicate across that cultural barrier. Oh my. But, yes, Australia. Eli and Timur from Australia. And I just lost my Australian accent. Good eye, mate. Good eye, mate. That's all I can say in Australian. Fair dinkum. Nobody likes a bogan. I got nothing else. Australia, you get up, you enjoy you watch the sunrise, you beat all your clothes in bedding with a stick just to make sure, then you go about your day. Now, it ain't Americans that settled that continent. You know it ain't Americans, man, because it would have been bomber planes full of black flag that hit that continent before anything else. You see this? It can kill you. You see that little squirmy thing? It can kill you. You see that thing over there with a lot of teeth? Oh, yeah, it can kill you. Steve Irwin. A man messes around with crocodiles and poisonous snakes and angry boars and all these animals. And what kills him? What kills him? A stingray. A stingray. A flapjack with a stinger. A fish pancake killed the crocodile hunter. So your continent needs to come with a warning label. Oh, it probably does. That's what the word Australia probably means. Don't come here. Oh, by the way, we want to talk to you Australians, all right? We want to talk to you about your opossums, okay? All right. Let me go through this. Let me go through this first. Let me pull up. Now, you guys, when you hear, now. This has been a source of confusion for some Australians that we Americans know, that some of us Americans know. Okay. When Australians talk about an opossum, they are talking about this guy. Look at that. That's an Australian opossum. Isn't that cute? That's adorable. It's an adorable little Australian brush-tailed possum with a little pink nose and the little black eyes, and he's adorable, isn't he? Now you will understand. You will be enlightened, Australian people. This is an American possum. You see that bugger? That looks like 5 miles of bad road, doesn't it? That is the only marsupial on the North American continent. And it is the ugliest mofo on the planet. Look at this guy. That is an American opossum. It's like somebody crossed a rat with a pig and gave it a fainting disorder. All right? Now I want to talk to you Australians, because as far as I can tell, at some point, we got your opossums and you got ours. And I would like to arrange a cultural exchange, if you don't mind. I want to talk this over here. Look at that. That just ain't right. When did you smuggle our opossums? You opossum switchers. This means war. And if you've never met an opossum, you'd know. If you've never met an American opossum, you'd know why it was, casus belli. Imagine opening a garbage bag and seeing that face pop out and hiss at you. And then it passes out and tries to pretend nothing happened. Meanwhile, you're levitating backwards about 500 feet, trailing fertilizer as you go. This was an act of war by Australia against America. They switched our opossums. Opossum switchers. All right. Just goofing on you. I'm goofing on you. But dang. Okay, like Noah got drunk when he was downloading, loading off the last of the animals off the ark. And I think this is the proof. They're supposed to put an opossum on the North American continent. And this opossum on the other continent. Which one? Oh, screw it. Just one over there, one over there. Wake me up when it's over. That's how Noah woke up with an opossum on his face. Ah! Dear Australia, give us our opossums back. In fact, if you'll just take our opossums, we'll forget all about it. Just take it away. They're ugly mothers. That's right. I'm sorry. I'm running that joke into the ground. I know. I just. Oh, beg your pardon. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to find a. Okay, there we go. Recent. Olvik 70. Okay. Let's try and get some work done here. Even some quick sketches. Come on. Gotta work. Gotta work. And then quick scribble. My hands, for some reason, my hands aren't really steady anymore. I'm an old fart. Getting old. Someday it may reach a point where, drawing just isn't my thing anymore because I can't. That's what I'm afraid of. That's what I'm really afraid of sometimes. this, the way my hands get shaky. It may just be the fact that I'm using a slick surface to draw on. I don't know. It may be that I don't know how to set the settings right on it. I don't know. But I'm afraid of getting old. I mean, I know I'm getting older, and I'm not getting any better. And barring a miracle, getting better is going to be, at best, a highly temporary situation. And, I reached a point where I goes, it's all downhill from here, kids. Believe it or not, that's a start. I think most of my reluctance is that most of my drawing is repetitive. Nowadays, I come up with a joke. It's like a dad joke. The kinds that involve far less slapstick and far more. That joke was terrible. Far more wordplay. Yeah, well, ours run too. Well, they sort of waddle off, but first they do the fainting thing, and then they do the hissing thing, and then they do the fainting thing, and then they walk off. Because they know nobody's going to want to chase something that ugly. Now, place your bets as to whether you think Thelma is an Australian opossum or an American one. That originally was why Thelma was supposed to be an opossum. Because she was supposed to be the gonk. The ugly girl that kept chasing the boys around when the comic strip first started out. But as time went by, her character grew, and I kind of felt sorry for her and gave her an ugly duckling treatment. But I picked out her species, because dang opossums, you be ugly. You be ugly, be ugly. UGLY, you ain't got no alibi, you ugly. They bark at night. Well, that's preferable, believe me, that's preferable to the hissing. This is something you do not want to hear coming out of the trash. Trust me, you don't want to hear it coming from anywhere. It's just they're animals that fell. They're like a rat that fell into the uncanny valley. Really. Might lose connection? Oh, well, you got that internet thing going on over there. I have the attention span of a gerbil. So don't be surprised if I jump around without concepts. Things I'm doing here, things I'm talking about there, blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. So Eli and T Mug, tell me, what was the first thing that brought you to my site? What got you? The comics, the stories, what? I like to know. I don't want to keel over dead just yet either. But man, I tell you, there are days I would give anything to just be about 10 years younger. About 10 years ago is when my legs started swelling. I could still walk around. You know what the cure is? You know what the treatment is for my huge swollen legs that won't let me walk around? Spending all day lying in bed with my feet elevated. That's it. The only thing they're even talking about is like some highly experimental lymph gland transplants. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in line for that. Think I'll, mind if I wait a few years while they, iron out the wrinkles? I don't want to be the prototype, I'll be honest with you. Steve Austin, a man barely left alive. Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology. We can make him better, stronger, faster. The $6.35 man. Yeah. If you get that reference, you're as old as I am, which is sad. Remember when $6 million seemed like a lot of money? Then we met our congressman. Listen, this is one of the problems we have getting across to people, that our government is spending too much money. They have no concrete grasp of how much a million is, or how much a billion is. What you have to do, every student should be put through this in school. Whether you want to blame it on civics course or math course, give them a meter stick. Yes, I'm going metric for this one. Gloat all you like. But give them a meter stick and tell them that every millimeter is $1,000. And a millimeter is $1,000. And explain to them that means the meter stick in their hands, the yardstick basically, the meter stick in their hands is $1,000,000. Now, make them plant the stick in the ground and go on a 1 kilometer walk in a straight line. Off the school grounds, through the city, as far as it takes to get 1 kilometer. Then plant another stick and say, congratulations, you just reached 1 billion. They will go to the voting booth with that picture engraved in their childhood memory. Ah, the stories, the film fiction, the ponies. My little pony. Da, 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 da. I'm working on a new chapter of the Great Alicorn Hunt, by the way. It's a little side chapter peeking in on Fluttershy. Because he's so cute. He's just so adorable. And I just love messing with her. I don't have any of my stories on FimFiction anymore. My stories are all on Archive of Our Own or the Sufficient Velocity forums, sufficientvelocity.com. So, if you're looking for those, voila. You don't know the $6 million man? I grew up on the $6 million man and the Bionic Woman and Wonder Woman, and I really think that the Wonder Woman TV show was my first peek into puberty. Seriously. Because what was it? What was it? What was the name of the woman that played Wonder Woman in the 1970s? Wonder Woman, starring Linda Carter. Linda Carter. Because she was wearing that Wonder Woman one piece, man, and for a kid my age, I was taking an unusual notice, and whenever she did some feat of strength, I was like, gee, those muscles leading down to her chest are flexing in an interesting fashion. My, that is interesting. She has some very interesting tan lines, too. I wonder what this is about. And then I turned 13, and then I found out. Now she's the principal at Sky High. Dun 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 dun. Wonder Woman! Wonder Woman! Heh. I don't know if any of you have read The Warcrafter. I don't know if you've read The Warcrafter. But the protagonist, he has a shape-shifting ability. He can turn into a large number of different animals, among other things that he can do. And one of his secret identities as a superhero is Wonder Walrus. Dun 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 dun. You can hear the theme song already, can't you? Dun 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 dun. Wonder Walrus. He ain't got no tights. He's fighting for our rights. And the old red, white, and blue. Wonder Walrus. Keep us out from under. Wonder Walrus. Oh, okay. That's enough. I don't know what's gotten into me. Amphetamines. No. You got me on the phone. Ring, ring. Ring, ring! Ring, ring! He's on his phone! I'm trying to get everybody's attention around him and annoy them. Gee, I wonder how loud his phone is. Yeah. Everybody look at this guy. He's watching something weird on the internet. He's talking about Linda Carter's boobs! No. That's just for your friends standing around you at the bus stop. Tell me how many people start giving you strange looks. Let's do a count. That's my new agenda, to get people to start staring strangely at my audience. I'm evil, I know it. Why did you do that? Because I'm evil! I'm mentally disturbed. Oh, here's an interesting fact. Don't ask me why this crossed my mind just now. This is a Jim Henson factoid. Jim Henson. He was my childhood hero. I was so sad when he died. He died far too young. But Jim Henson, back in the year 1970, he came. They did a Christmas special. The Muppets, the Muppet Crew, they did a Christmas special. It was called the Great Santa Claus Switch. Well, basically the idea is that this villain switches places with Santa Claus with the plan of robbing all the houses in the world on Christmas night. Anyway, the creatures, the villain lived in this cave, and he had these hairy, scruffy little creatures running around that were his minions, and they were called Frackles. You look among them, you'll see some familiar faces among the Frackles. Various monster faces that showed up later in the Muppet Show. Well, there was one particular Frackle who lived in a jewelry box sitting up on the guy's desk. He had a desk, and you open it up, and the head pops out, and he was blue, he was furry, he had the familiar long hook nose and the googly eyes. It was Gonzo. It was the first appearance of Gonzo. And he would go on, so now you know what Gonzo is. He is a Frackle. Frackle. I just thought that was a fun fact. Curse you and your modern technology. Headphones thwarted again. I gotta say, I've had all these different ideas for the My Hero Academia crossovers. The first one listed, it's a crossover between, you guessed it, My Little Pony and My Hero Academia. I couldn't resist. I saw a picture somebody did of Izuku Midoriya as a My Little Pony, and I thought, oh, that's so cute. And I thought, oh, that's an interesting story idea. And the next thing I know, I'm writing the thing. But one of the things that I've noticed that in all the different versions I've done so far, I've got like 5 different stories that are crossovers with Boku no Hero Academia. And that's just me sitting still, letting my brain run amok. But I crossed them over with the Warcrafted. I crossed them over with My Little Pony. I did a couple of original character inserts, basically, which were El Raira, the rabbit one, and the coyote one. And what was the last one? Oh, yeah, I crossed him over with Shazam. Shazam, by the way, is not the name of the hero. The hero's name is Captain Marvel. He was Captain Marvel long before the social justice bimbo came along. Decades before. But anyway. And there are certain tropes that keep unfolding the same. Yeah. They turned Gonzo into an alien in Muppets from Space, I know. But I'm saying his original pedigree was a Frackle from a Christmas special. It's just an interesting fact. Kermit wasn't originally a frog. He was basically just sort of a frog-like Muppet monster. He didn't really solidly become a frog until the Henson Company did their first fairy tale parody, and he was the frog prince living in the pond. You know what's freaky? You know what's really freaky? Let me find it. There are all sorts of freaky frogs out there in nature. I kid you not. And this, nobody could have predicted, okay? Nobody could predict. There are frogs out there that look like leaves, and frogs that look like rocks, and frogs that, just look like anything you can imagine. But nobody in a million years, I would have never imagined this. They found a frog in the rainforest that looks almost exactly like Kermit the Frog. The eyes, the same shade of green, the lanky little tree frog limbs. That is so freaky. You show this to somebody who's been smoking dope, and he'll be sitting there. My mind is blown. I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it. All he's missing is the little frilly collar. Millions of stoners all over the world sitting in front of their computers right now. Far out, man. Far out. And the funny thing is that Jim Henson never saw this frog. From the day he lived to the day he died, he thought Kermit was all 100% original. He never saw that frog. He never saw the color. He never even suspected, the eyes even, that is just so bizarre. This is the kind of thing that makes me wonder if, God is going around, just twiddling with the settings, so to speak, just to see if he can mess with us a little bit, Oh, you like Kermit the Frog here? Let me check this thing over here in the rainforest. Wait until you find this. You're in for a surprise. Yeah. But it's kind of awesome. I hope they named it. I hope they named it after Henson or something. Amazonius Kermit the Frogus or something. They'd better name it. They better put Jim Henson. Seriously, they better put Jim Henson's name in the official etymology name of that frog. Just no justice if they didn't. How many of you know what a thagomizer is? A thagomizer is the actual scientific term. The thagomizer is the actual scientific term for the spikes on the end of a stegosaurus's tail. The thagomizer. It's written up in textbooks and papers and everything. And the reason they named it that, a Far Side cartoon, Gary Larson. Let me see if I can let me see if I can find a bigger picture of it. Dang it, they just don't want to show that thing full size for nothing, do they? I'll see if I can zoom this in. There it is. For those who can't read the caption, it's caveman researcher. He's saying there. This end is called the Thagomizer, after the late Thag Simmons. Gary Larson, immortality calls. And doggone it, Gary Larson got his immortality from the paleontologists. The frog people, whoever that discovered that frog, they'd better put Jim Henson's name in that Latin term for that frog somewhere. There better be like Henson or Kermit or Muppet or something somewhere in that name. Frogus Muppetolus. Kermitus Hensonus, I'm not even showing you the image, am I? Window capture. There you go. For those who can't read it, the caveman standing there pointing at the spiky end of the Stegosaurus. Going, that's the Thagomizer. It's named after Thag Simmons. Yeah, whoop-de-doo. Okay, I ran that joke into the ground, flattened it, killed it, raised it from the dead, and then killed it again. Okay, let's just let it go. Let it go, Ralph. Let it go. Let it go. You've dropped it dead on the floor. How many of you got sick of hearing Let It Go within a week? Okay. Frozen. A rather brilliant animation, if you ask me. The movie Frozen was a brilliant movie. It really was. In many ways. Let me see if I can Frozen. Because it broke all the expectations. There was no true love. There was no instant true love. There was no handsome prince who saved the day. And it was about a sister's love for her sister. There was no real, the thing of it is that they almost made it exceptionally brilliant. Almost. The mistake they made is that at the very last second, they made this guy a villain. He turns out to be this soulless bastard who wants to marry the girl, kill her off, and take her kingdom. And I'm like, why? They just had to villainize some white dude, or they hadn't met their quota, I suppose. It would have been so much more brilliant. It would have been so much more brilliant if the guy had genuinely been as nice as he appeared through the rest of the movie. He's genuinely a nice guy, genuinely a compassionate guy, genuinely helps out the people in the city while the blizzard is raging. Out of the goodness of his heart, he's noble, he's honorable, he's kind, he's everything. But, and then he finds out, he tries to save the girl by kissing her, but it's not true love. And he's just as confused and disappointed and as upset as she is. And he despairs. He doesn't know how to solve this problem. That would have been brilliant. The idea, okay, here's the idea. Just because he's not your true love does not make him your mortal enemy. Okay? Radical concept in fairy tale and Disney writing, all right? It would have been a nice change up if in Aladdin, if some of the suitors that had come by to woo the princess, they turn out to be okay guys, but, there was just no chemistry there. It was just nothing there. And they leave disappointed. Just to change it, but the only suitor we see is some doink, who doesn't care if he tramples a child in the street with his horse. Come on, seriously. Break the formula completely. If you're going to break the formula, break the whole formula. And so we have this reluctant prince. He's fond of the girl, but he's not in love with her. And he really, distraught. He realizes that the only way he's going to be able to save this kingdom and all its people is to stop this Frost princess the only way he can. We already had a villain. The snivelly little bald guy who was trying to exploit the kingdom for his own ends. That would have been more than enough. They broke the formula by not having the magical princess be the villainess. But they fell back into it by making one of the handsome, love interests into another one. So, it could have been such an avant-garde move, for lack of a better term. Groundbreaking concept. That there is no real villain in this confused mess up of interpersonal relationships. They're just four people trying to do the best they can. They all have their own problems. They're all trying to do the right thing. They've all got wounds they're trying to heal, and and they come at cross purposes. That would have been brilliance. That would have been great, but they didn't do that. Now you look at another movie that they sort of dropped the ball on. Tarzan. Okay, now there were so many things that were brilliant about this movie. Okay, their fascinating approach. They made Jane look British. They made her act British. They made her father British. And that's such a stereotype. No. Well, yeah, it's a stereotype. Of course, it's a stereotype. It's a cartoon. Cartoons work with stereotypes. And they could have, and the way they made Tarzan move around like he was actually raised by apes. He moved like an ape. Rather than like a British actor who had been lost in the woods. Anyway, so many brilliant things. I remember that trailer. The first time I saw that trailer, the first trailer I saw, the camera following Tarzan, the jungle drum, and Tarzan leaping from branch to branch and swooping through the trees and swinging on vines, and then boom, he stops and looks back at the camera like this. And I'm like, whoa! Hardcore! And they had a couple little intermittent scenes where it showed that one scene where he peels Jane's glove off her hand. Can you say innuendo? Paging Dr. Freud, paging Dr. Freud. White courtesy phone, please. Thank you. And it was so, in that scene, that was seriously sensual. You know what I'm saying? This half-naked savage just peeling her glove off, and she's like, hey. And I'm thinking, whoa, they are actually making a mature, not mature in the sense of, vulgar or filthy, but mature in the sense of sophisticated and serious and, hardcore animated Disney feature. They're really breaking new ground here. And then the next trailer I saw broke my heart. The very next trailer I saw featured that stupid trashing the camp scene and that stupid song. And I looked at that and I just went, more Disney marshmallow fluff. Stale marshmallow fluff. You know, so close and yet so far. You know what I'm saying? They would have finally grown up and caught up with the grounds that anime has been breaking for decades. But no, we gotta have cute singing monkeys. Let's make this as trite and twee as possible. Disney, you're killing me. You're killing me. And then they got a hold of. Then they went and got a hold of the Star Wars franchise. They took over the Star Wars franchise. They took over the Marvel franchise. They'd taken over the Marvel Marvel movie comic universe. And you could see where this was. And I was just sitting here, oh, crap. Ah, crap. Here we go. And sure enough, spiraling the drain as fast as they could go. Lay on the woods, laddie. Lay the wood on. Shovel the coal, laddie. We've got to hit the septic tank by dawn. Away goes trouble down the drain. Yeah. They're afraid to break formula. They've got a mediocre money mill. It's a story of any major corporation. It's a story of any major corporation. Mickey Mouse, McDonald's. They're afraid to break new ground. They've got a recipe that works badly, but it works. They're past the age of innovation, and sooner or later, they'll do a major stumble, and somebody else will overtake them. It's going to take another decade or two, because they've got enough money to throw at their problems for the next 100 years. How did I used to put it? It is Microsoft, Mickey Mouse, and McDonald's. Examples of overly successful mediocrity. They don't have to make a good product, they just have to make a lot of it. Look at Warner Brothers, not Warner Brothers, Hanna-Barbera. Their approach was just literally throwing any idea at the wall and seeing what would stick. They use incredibly substandard animation, just cranked things out. Story idea after story after thousands. They have literally hundreds, if not thousands, of franchises to their name. Nearly 99% of them have been collecting dust on shelves ever since they were first aired. They've got a handful of them that have been about as monotonous as a Roadrunner cartoon. that have lasted forever. Scooby-Doo, the Flintstones, the Jetsons. I remember the Herculoids. How many remember the Herculoids? Hands up. The Herculoids. I think that was basically their predecessor run for Thundar the Barbarian. This family of space barbarians that lived on this alien planet and were always getting in adventures with all sorts of monsters. They had friendly monsters, and they would use the friendly monsters to fight the enemy monsters. And, you know, everything will. Everything eventually fades away. That was a sic temper gloria mundi, you know. This is why they were awarded with laurel leaves in the original Olympics, to be reminded that glory was temporary and fleeting. Some things last longer than others. Pyramids, but everything crumbles. Eternity's not for this time, not for this place. Immortality, no. Eternity, that's for the next world. The new heaven and the new earth, when God finally returns and sets up his kingdom. Sweeps the old away, starts the new. For the until that day, everything is fleeting, except maybe memories. It's getting a trifle stuffy in here. All I've got is warm soda and warm Kool-Aid. Need to get some cold water. Got a couple of nerves in my hand that are acting up too. I'm an old fart. I've got a laundry list of things that are going wrong with me at all times. This hurts and that aches and those hurt. I'm not even supposed to be able to feel those. Yeah. Shoe bug, shoo. Yeah. See you soon too, Eli. T-Mug. Whichever one you are. Alright. I'm feeling a little... I think I'm starting to run out of steam. Probably end up lying down for a little while till it cools off tonight. Okay, it has been 2.5 hours. I like to get closer to 4 hours, but the fact that I live in a sauna that's posing as a house, that's not such a hot idea right now. Okay, I will catch you all later. I may even do another airing, like graveyard hours. I don't know, but I'll see you then. I gotta go now.